All right, welcome. So anyhow, I'm just doing this for my entertainment purposes only. And yeah, that's really why. I mean, it's really ironic, wouldn't you say? With all the plethora of all the many different choices of entertainment that we're given on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute, you'd think that a person would have so much entertainment to choose from that they wouldn't have to resort to turning on a camera and creating their own videos. Isn't that something, man? I guess it depends on your taste of what you consider entertainment. If you consider all this crap on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble as entertaining, well, yeah, to each his own, different strokes for different folks, I guess. So, anyways, I try to find anything worthy on YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, and BitChute, and I always find myself disappointed. I often wonder if you, the viewer yourself, ever experience this. But it's probably just me. I'm sure it's just me, so whatever. So as a result, I just, make videos for my own entertainment purposes. And so that's why, I always include this in my statement that any and everything I say could be wrong. And that's why I always say, do your own research and come to your own conclusions. With that being said, let's get right into it. So, this is a common subject that requires just like a common response. There's a normal, natural response to this reoccurring theme. That there's all this terrible stuff going on in the world, and therefore we all need to do something about it. This is a very popular thing that is talked about on all social media platforms, including, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, and YouTube, is that there's all these messed up things going on in the world, and we all need to stand up and start doing something about it. And the fair question in response to this is, well, what should we do? Okay. So you see all these people pointing this out, how there's all these terrible things going on in the world, and that we all need to stand up and do something about it, right? It's everywhere. You would have to be a blind man living in a cave in the middle of nowhere to not have noticed this. This is like everywhere, always, constant. The story's always the same. There's all these terrible things going on in the world, and that we all need to stand up and start doing something about it. Okay, now, this may be a fair statement, that there's all these terrible things that are going on in the world and in our own communities and stuff. And so that could be a fair statement. Yeah, there's enough truth to that where it should be investigated, right? And that because there's all this terrible stuff going on, therefore you and I, as individuals, need to start standing up to it. Like, everybody needs to start standing up to this. Because it's all this terrible corruption and stuff that's going on in the world. Me and you, as just everyday people, need to start standing up to it, Of course, we don't have like big, YouTube channel. We're just everyday people. Someone with a big channel on YouTube, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, they can't really be considered an everyday person. They have become somewhat of a star on the internet. But so the call is just to everyday people like me and you need to start standing up. Of course, those people with those big popular channels on BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble, they don't need to, because they're running their channels that they make 6 figures a year running. They're doing all the wonderful stuff. It's you and I as everyday people that need to start getting involved, right? Well, that's I think that's where the first place where you lose people is demanding that everyday people start doing something. When you've got all these popular trending channels all over the internet, and what are they doing? Not only are they not doing anything, they're cashing in on all this fucked up shit going on in the world. They're cashing in on it by making clickbait videos about it. And what do they say? The same thing, how we all need to stand up and start doing something about it. But those popular channels on BitChute, Odysee, and Rumble that are saying this, they're not doing anything, and they're getting paid to not do anything about it. They're getting paid to lecture you and me on how me and you should be doing something about it. Meanwhile, they get paid 6 figures a year to lecture me and you on how all us everyday people need to start standing up. You don't find that a little ironic? Well, apparently not, so we'll move on. So since we have to move on from that, we just have to ignore that phenomenon that's like, you know, the 5,000-pound gorilla in the room. We just continue to ignore that. But we're all going to, all us everyday people, we're going to, so it's important that we all stand up, right? Okay, so then the question, this begs the question though is what do you mean stand up? Like, what do you want me to do about it? What is it that I can do about it? I mean, I'm just struggling to put food on the table. What kind of value am I going to have in that, right? Like, what exactly is it that I can do about it? Let's say I do. Let's say I listen to one of these videos and the video is like, you know, there's all this corruption going on and you know, it's getting worse and worse every year and blah blah blah, and you need to stand up to this. And I watch that video and it inspires me, and I'm like, you know what? This is true. I got to start standing up, right? And let's say I do the proverbial stand, whatever that means. Let's say I do. Well, what do you think is going to happen if I start standing up? I'm going to be standing alone. Nobody else is listening to it and being like, yeah, that's right. So I'm going to be standing alone? Well, where's all my, how am I alone going to do anything about any of this? Whatever it is, allegedly, that's going on, that I need to stand against. Well, let's say I do. The proverbial stand. What's going to happen? I'm going to be standing alone. Nobody else is going to be there. And then I'm going to suffer the unjust consequences of it that an unjust society, enacts upon people that stand up against it. What exactly is it you want me to do? This is never articulated as to what it is. Okay, let's say I'm like, all right, I'm open-minded to this. I'm open-minded to this idea of standing. Even if I am going to stand alone, I'm still open-minded. I know that if I stand, I'm going to be alone anyways. Now, so I'm not totally sold on this idea. I need some more information. What I would like to know is what exactly do you mean by stand up? What am I doing? What is it action that I'm going to be taking? Can you be a little more specific? Like, what exactly is it? Any idea for what I can do? You know what I mean? And nobody's really providing that. You know, nobody's really going beyond this idea. All they're doing is saying, you need to stand up. It's like a lecture. And it's like, but that's as far as it goes. It doesn't go into any kind of detail or description of what exactly that means to stand up to this system. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And so because it doesn't expand on the idea of what it means to stand against this corrupt system, well then what do you expect me or anybody to do? What do you expect anybody to do? If you can't even expand on what it is that means to stand up to this system. And then on top of that, there are other problems with this proposed idea is unbeknownst to you, you may have audience members, and you may have a lot of audience members that have already been there and done that. They've already stood up. They've already taken action and done things on their own, of their own accord. And you know what their experience was? They stood alone. Nobody was there to stand with them. And so they've already got more experience in standing against the system. Maybe even a lot more experience. And so a channel is like lecturing its viewers on how its viewers need to stand up. And unbeknownst to that channel, you know, a percentage of its viewers have way more experience standing up against the system than the channel, the operator of this channel. And they already know the end result. The end result in standing against the system is you stand alone. No one else is going to do it. And then what happens? Well, you go to jail. You get your shit impounded. You know, all kinds of fucked up stuff happens. And that person running that channel, where are they? Nowhere. And what are they doing? Are they getting arrested? Are they standing? No, they're not. But then they're lecturing you on how you need to stand up. Come on. So anyways, I'm not going to go into this much more because I could turn this into a 30-minute video, but why? What's the point? What is the fucking point? You know? Eat, drink, and be merry, guys. See ya.